my feelings, thoughts, opinions on the new Naked Smoky palette from Urban Decay. So when I sat down to pull this video together, I thought, how can I bring something a little bit different to the table that you haven't seen from, a bunch of other YouTubers who get them early and can, kind of tell you everything all about it before the rest of us can get our hands on it. And I thought one of the things I would do is do some eye swatches for you. So you will see a complete set of eye swatches with every color, and oh my god, yes, my eyes are still sore. I did that yesterday, and I had to give myself a break before I filmed again today, because taking all that shadow on and off was, it kind of wears that skin down a little bit. But I thought that would be useful. And I will also share some different looks with you that I have put together from the palette, and also kind of compare to the old smoked palette, and that's about it. So I've had my palette for about a month, or maybe a little bit more than a month, so I've really had ample time to get to know it, play with it, use it, and try a couple different looks out on it. So my first impression when I first opened it up was it really was a nice assortment of colors, some light and darks, a bunch of matte shades, some shimmer shades, but not too shimmery, so I really liked that assortment there. And one of the things I felt right off the bat was this was almost like a blend between the Urban Decay, the first Naked palette, and the second, the Naked 2 palette. I feel like it has some of that taupey undertone, but it also has some of the warm undertones, and then of course this is where all the dark action happens here in the middle. So some of you who've been watching my channel for some time know that I also had the original smoked palette from Urban Decay, and I really struggled with that one. I'll include a list of some tutorials that I did with that palette so you can see that in action. I don't have that anymore in my possession. I actually passed that on to Kate. She really loves that palette. But I don't think she uses too many of the dark shades. I think she mostly uses the top row, which had some of the more wearable shades in it. And my big complaint with that smoked palette is that all of the beautiful colors, all those jewel tone colors that were on the bottom row, look gorgeous in the pan, but did not really translate to the eyes that well. That when you applied them to the eyes, a lot of those colors all ended up looking the same, and they ended up looking just dark. And that was a frustration of mine, to be able to get some of that gorgeous color to show through, and I was a little worried about that with this palette as well. And for the most part, I do feel like they've done a really good job with this, with the exception of this purple color called Smolder. For the life of me, I cannot get this to do anything but look almost black. It just does not retain this beautiful dark purple color that you see here in the pan. I don't know what happens to it. You apply it to the lid and it just looks dark. So I think this is a good time for me to go ahead and insert the clips of the eye swatches, and then you can see for yourself when I get to the smolder shadow how that looks on my eyes. Over a clear primer, packed on. It's quite dark, and then I tried it over a flesh colored base. I really was hoping I had some of the, like a white base to try it on, and I don't have one. And I applied it a little bit thinner, and it still generally just comes off as being very dark, not really purpley like it is in the pan. That I think you can really get a really nice assortment of looks with this palette, more so than you could have gotten with the smoked palette. And I think that you have a great assortment of matte shades, so if you want just a really good neutral matte eye that you can wear every day and it doesn't really look smoky one bit, you can absolutely do that. And if you want something that's what I would consider a daytime smoky, you can absolutely do that as well. Super easy and really wearable looks. So on those two ends of the spectrum, you can create some really super wearable looks. And when you really want to put a full-on dark smoky eye look together, there's plenty of opportunity for you to do that as well. So this is an all matte look using the three shades down at this far end of the palette, 13, Combust, and Whiskey. And I think this really gives you a gorgeous daytime, everyday look, a beautifully blended out look. It's not smoky at all. This is just a really good workhorse of a look. And I'll zoom in for a minute, but before I do, I just wanted to share what I'm wearing on my lips. And on my lips, I have the Too Faced Spice Spice Baby. And on my cheeks, I have the from Hourglass, the Ambient Light blushes for that trio that came out at the holidays, and this is the middle one, the Incandescent Electra. So I started off this look by using this lightest shade on my brow bone and this next lightest shade in my crease. And on the lid I used Radar, and in the very inner corner of my lid I used Bittersweet right here to give it a little bit of a highlight, and in the outer edge and blend it up into the crease I use this dark purple shade, which is Smolder. And then the other things I'm wearing on my face today is this Shimmer Shape and Glow in Light from Mally on my cheeks. I really love this set. It's uncomplicated, it does a great job. And then on my lips I have this matte lip pencil from Bite Beauty in the color Glace. So just to walk you through what I did to achieve this look, I started with this lightest shade, which is 13, and I put that up under my brow bone. And then I took this next lightest shade, which is Combust, and I just pushed that all in my crease and kind of made that a transition. I brought it down a little bit onto the lid because I feel like putting like a base shadow color helps to for the darker colors to go on less patchy. If you go right on top to with a dark shade onto the eyeshadow primer, sometimes it can grab too much in one place and it becomes patchy. So I like to use a little bit of this Combust to kind of alleviate that problem. And then I went ahead and I used slanted all over my lid up into just the edge of my crease and put a little bit of Dagger on the outer V and blended that all together. And just to kind of soften that look a little bit and warm it up, well, not really warm it up, but to kind of blend it out a little bit, I also used a tiny bit of this Password, which is like a matte gray, and just use that in my crease to kind of I don't know, blend it a little bit more and add just another layer of transition color. And then under my eyes, I went ahead and used a little bit of the, what did I use? A little bit of whiskey under my eyes, and then I hit it with a little bit of the slanted in the outer edge, and then black market just on the outer corners of my upper and lower lash line. Not too heavy, I didn't want to make it too heavy. And then I went ahead and tight-lined and put mascara on. And that is that look today. Just to wrap up my thoughts on this palette, if you are a collector of the Naked palettes in general from Urban Decay, you are definitely going to want to pick this up. It's really a great palette. I think it has a lot to offer. If you have the Naked 1 and the Naked 2, you probably don't really need this. I'm just going to be very honest. I don't think you probably need it. If you have the first two and you're not into collecting all the palettes, then I think you'll feel it's a little bit redundant between those two palettes and this one. And I think in general the shadows perform really, really well. I think that this shade here, this slanted shade, is probably the most glittery shade. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous on the eye. I didn't really have any trouble with fallout with this, and I learned a new trick that I absolutely want to share with you guys. Instead of just tapping off like this, if you tap it like this, the shadow falls back into the brush, and you'll retain more of the shadow on the brush, but it won't be falling out so quickly. What? Life-changing. I'm not kidding. Life-changing for me. I have to pass that along. So I'm really pretty thrilled with this palette. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it'll be a great palette for traveling because you can get such an assortment of looks out of it. And I'm really pretty excited for another Naked palette. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it useful in helping you decide whether or not you want to purchase this palette or not, or if you've already owned this palette, maybe to try some different looks. I'd be interested to know what your opinions are on this, whether it's something that you're going to pick up, not pick up, what your feelings are, and if you already own it, do you like it? So please share those comments below because I know other viewers read those comments and it would be worthwhile to share your thoughts. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you tuning in. And if you are new to my channel and you're just stopping by for the first time, I would love it if you'd hit the subscribe button and join me for more videos like this. And I will see you real soon. Take care.